Kris, just a couple lineup things. Do you expect Ryan McLeod to be back in the lineup tomorrow night?
There's a good chance. We'll evaluate today and, his fresh legs and what he's provided us all year. Yeah, there's a good chance. But, I think overall, if we're putting him back in the lineup, we're going to have a tough decision on who we're going to take out. So we haven't committed to anything yet.
And you plan on starting Stuart Skinner?
Stuart will be our goalie, yes.
Second row left, Derek.
Hey, Kris, I just want to ask you about the difference in the way Dallas defends as opposed to how Vancouver and Los Angeles defend. They're big, heavy teams, use the body a lot. This team seems to be a good skating team, and they have very good sticks.
Yeah, I think they're well coached. We've got a lot of good hockey players, right, from top to the bottom of the lineup. Really no weaknesses. And, they're pretty committed on playing the right way all the time. And, for us to get our opportunities, we have to make a few plays. And that being said, I think we've had our plays. I think we've had our opportunities. I think we can just maybe bear down a little bit more on when the scoring chances. I think there's been a lot of missed nets, missed passes, right when we're almost there. But, you're right. They do defend well.
Third row right, Daniel.
Kris, your power play's gone through dips before the season. That has always come out of it. How do you feel about the chances that you guys are getting, and do you feel like there's a bit more pressure on the group to produce, given that there haven't been too many opportunities in the series as a whole?
Well, we haven't seen many power plays, but the last one, every power plays, there's ups and downs, and when it doesn't go well, there's usually noise about, we got to change things up and put somebody else in a different situation or whatever it is. But then we'll continue doing the same thing, and then we'll go 6 for 10 in our next 10 opportunities. We haven't had many power plays, and there has been power plays that haven't gone well. Even through the LA series, when it looked like it was unstoppable, we still had some of those power plays that things didn't go well. But over the course of the long run, that they work themselves out, and overall, the power plays scores goals. So right now, 3 games has not contributed, but you look at the last power play in that we had in the second period there. We had every opportunity to score. There was a lot of good looks, and it's going to go in, and I don't see any reason for concern. Standing
on the left, Jim.
Kris, Darnell Nurse seems to be a lightning rod with the fan base here. He's been on for a lot of goals against 5-on-5. What are you seeing from his game, and what do you think he should be doing a little bit better?
Plus minus is obviously a very difficult stat to look at. Sometimes you're soaking up minuses when you had nothing to do with the play. It's, your partner, or the forwards that you're out there with, or whatever it is. Maybe a bad goal. It's a tough one. So I take plus minus with a grain of salt. But I think there's still more for him. I think he can play better, and I think it's just playing on instincts. Darnell, the way he checks and covers the ice, I don't know anyone in the NHL that is able to get around the ice as quick as he can and close plays off. He's so efficient at that, and for him, I think that's his strongest attribute, and for him to play well, that's something he's got to be doing every shift. And like I said, earlier, you look at the stats, and I think it's unfair to say that's his game, but Darnell can play better.
Mark, third row on the left.
Kris, you're very much the exception in this Final Four as a first-time NHL head coach. You moved up quickly. You got here at a young age. But what is it like when you are an assistant or in the minors and you're waiting your chance? You see how reluctant teams generally are to hire first-time coaches.
Well, there's not very many positions, and it's a position that it holds a lot of responsibility. So if you are giving that responsibility to somebody, you want somebody that you're certain that they can handle it, and they've done that job before. So, it's tough to put somebody in that position. but that being said, there's a lot of good quality coaches in the minor leagues, whether it's college, American League, junior, whatever. That yeah, there's a lot of good coaches out there. But you know, for myself, I feel very fortunate to have this opportunity, and things happen to work out for me. And you know, I don't know. I just think there's a lot of good coaches out there.
Fourth row on the right.
Hey, Kris, I'm just wondering what you think of the job that your team has done transporting the puck out of its own zone, if there are areas of improvement, and if so, what those are.
You know, I don't think there's any patterns, I guess. You know, if there's a pattern on, you know, when the puck gets dumped in this corner and we're trying to do that and it's unsuccessful, or if it's over here, things like that. You know, there's always going to be mistakes. It can't always be perfect every single time, as much as us coaches want it to be, and we draw it up to be perfect. It's not that easy. You know, we watch our computers and we're putting it on slow motion, we're stopping it, and we're looking at it from up on the skybox, and it's much easier from our point of view. And you have to realize the game is about mistakes, and you're trying to eliminate your mistakes as much as possible. But, you know, I think we've done a pretty good job. You know, there's been mistakes, and that's the game. And as we move forward, we're trying to reduce those. You know, we're not going to eliminate them, but we'll try and reduce them.
Third row on the right, Josh.
Kris, whether it was game 1 against Vancouver, you know, game 7 against Vancouver, game 1, or sorry, last night, leads have sort of slipped away from you guys at certain points the last 2 rounds. Do you see common themes or things that are leaking into the game in those moments?
No, I don't think there's any common themes. You know, I think, well, maybe one common theme is the other team plays with a little more desperation. And then for like last night, I just thought we got away from our game. You know, I don't want to take any away from Dallas. Obviously, they played a much better period in the second period than they did in the first. But I look back at what we were doing. Yeah, there's some things that we weren't doing in the second period that we were in the first. And it's just small little details. And for us to be successful, those small details are non-negotiable. If we're going to have success, we need everyone doing those and do them every single time. And the mistakes will happen, but those little details, we got to make sure that we're doing those, and we're committed to doing those as a 5-man unit.
We'll take a few more on the left, Frank.
Kris, you've tinkered with your D pairs in game and game to game, but the same 6 have played all 15 games to this point. Would you consider making a change for game 4?
Yeah, we've got a defenseman there that we're very confident in, that we could insert. But you know, we're still considering what is best for us. You know, we've got 6 defensemen that have played almost every single game this year, and it's difficult to switch that up right now. But I'm not saying that's not a possibility, but it would be a difficult one.
And if you don't switch, just in terms of trying to find the right fit, what are you looking for?
Just, you know, I think we're confident, and it doesn't matter necessarily what the pairs are. We've gone through the season where it's worked both ways, you know, and I talk about both pairs, the second and third pair, with whether Darnell plays with Vinny or Cody, or, you know, it's worked. And right now we just need to, it's not necessarily on the pairs, it's on guys finding their game. And no matter what we do, coaches, we have our lines put together. And, you know, we can think about, oh, these 3 guys play really together, and now they need a little more of this. And ultimately, it's those guys, when they hit the ice, they got to perform. So I think we just got to find our game.
Second row on the left.
Knobber, are you able to enjoy this playoff ride, this journey, being a first-timer? Or the demands, the pressures, is it too tough to, you know, take it all in and have a look and say, man, this is something?
It is something. I don't get to talk to you guys all the time, and here I am. It's great. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure in this, but I'm enjoying it. I really am. And, you know, you get disappointed after a loss, and then you're upset, but yeah, the adversity just makes everyone stronger, and Yeah. So to answer your question, I am enjoying it, and the Stanley Cup playoffs, Final Four, like, you know, I want to say it doesn't get better than this, but it does. You know, it does get better, and hopefully I can tell you about it getting better. So,
Take two more. Mark, second row left.
Your team has not scored a third period goal in the series, and you've gone in the last 2 games tied after 2 and just didn't get the big goal you needed. You got Corey Perry in a press box right now. Is it tempting to use him?
oh, absolutely. In the games that we've not used him, it's been tempting. We, you know, we looked for a change in the Vancouver series, and you know, we had some success. And now, whether I certainly don't think we had success because we took Corey to the lineup and we put somebody else in. That's ridiculous. But and then you look at this series so far against Dallas, and we felt that we were good enough to win each of those games. Did we play our best? Could the game gone the other way? Yes. Now we have to make a decision on, you know, what does he add? And there's a lot of attributes Corey provides our team: goal scoring, leadership, puck play, smarts, all that stuff. Now, if we do insert him in the lineup, which is a good possibility, now we're taking somebody else out of the lineup. That's, you know, what are they providing? Because I think every one of our players has something to provide our team, and now you're adding something. You also have to think about what you're taking away. As a coaching staff, we just have to evaluate the pros and cons and put together a little spreadsheet and make that decision later.
Last one, second row right, Ryan.
Chris Evander talked about, you know, the Stars don't want to take penalties, obviously, and it maybe lulling things a little bit physically. There's not a lot of animosity. There's not a lot of, you know, heat, I would say. Do you think your team plays better when there is a little bit more physicality, a little bit more heat, a little more anger? And do you want to see more of that from your group when the temperature goes up?
You want to play with emotion. Emotion is very important to having success, but often if you have too much emotion, your execution of the fundamentals deteriorates. So as a player, you want to maximize that intensity as much as possible without reducing your skill level or your focus on the systems or task at hand. You know, last night, you know, look in the hit chart, and, you know, that's always subjective, but I believe last night was one of our most physical games that we've had throughout the playoffs. And, you know, that can say that you're chasing the game, or it's because you're not, you don't have the puck. Or it can say that you're making sure that you're going out of your way to finish every check and you're not playing as well positionally. So I think it's a fine line on, you do need physicality, you need to play with that emotion, but the concentration is the most important part of the game.